Wow, that's a lot of flies. Now, come with me as I show the action of the birds feeding on those flies there at the Great Salt Lake in Utah. And I used the Canon 5D Mark IV and Tamron's 150-600 f5.6 to 6.3 lens to document all of the action that happened that day. So I arrived at Antelope Island State Park, and that's on the southeast end of the Great Salt Lake, of course in Utah, and it was early September. There were lots of birds around, and I photographed black-necked stilts and red-necked phalaropes and lots of American avocets. I think the avocets are just beautiful. They have that recurved bill, and of course they probe in the shallow mud flats, and they oftentimes come up with these tiny brine shrimp, or maybe it's fly larvae of some sort. But the lake was beautifully calm, and I just got some awesome reflection images of the avocets. And then here and there on the sandy shore, what I saw were gulls, and there were two types. There were a few ring-billed gulls around, but mostly I saw Franklin's gulls. And it seemed as if the Franklin's gulls had the food source figured out. So they would stand there and they would be absolutely mobbed by the millions of brine flies that are on the shoreline. And then all of a sudden they'd spring into action and they'd chase down flies with a gaping mouth. And the brine flies would take to the air in waves of millions and millions. It was something out of the apocalypse. It was just something so incredible to watch and to photograph that I couldn't get enough of it. I photographed more and more gulls chasing down these swarms of brine flies. And sometimes the camera and the lens didn't even know what to focus on. There were just so many flies surrounding the gull. But after lots and lots of attempts, I got some pretty decent images of this action going on. And later on, after all that activity and all that action with the gulls eating brine flies, I sat back. I knew that this area had awesome sunsets, and so I just switched out, put on a wider lens, and I photographed the gorgeous sunset that happened that evening over Antelope Island and the Great Salt Lake. It was awesome photography, and I appreciate you watching my video.